Hello and welcome back to Goddy's Radio Workshop. On the bench today we've got another Roberts. This is an interim video. I'm still waiting for the material to turn up for the handle for the last video I did, which was the crocodile skin R200. Keep your eyes peeled for that one because that will be coming up sometime. But this is a Roberts R760. It's from the kind of revival series of radios, but this isn't a revival as such. It's quite quirky. When I say quirky, there are only 2 buttons on the top. There's normally 4 on the revivals, and it depends on which configuration. Like if you have both of them up, I believe that's long wave. If you have both of them down, then that's FM. If you have this one up and that one down, that could be medium wave. It's a science that I've never fully understood. However, they are a particularly nice case, and this front is solid wood. On first appearance you might think it's a veneer or something, but it is actually. In fact, let me show you. I'll grab the screwdriver and take the bottom off. And if you look inside, it is a solid piece of, I believe it's teak. And on the other side, now the end pieces are MDF or HDF as Roberts like to call it. Obviously higher density is better than medium density. And there's the model number R760, and the serial number of this particular one is 901997. What relevance that has I'm not sure, but anyway, these are a 2000s-ish year of production, and this one's come to me for parts are not working. So let's grab the Roberts mains adapter and plug it into the back like so, and switch it on. Nothing at all. So let's find out what's wrong with it. Looking inside, now that I've handily got the bottom off, I can see a few problems already, so I'll go ahead and take this out of the case and then we can have a look at that a little bit more closely. So I've got it kind of to pieces. I've undone all the necessary screws and I'm just going to lift this out now. So there's the radio, there's the case. I'll pop that on one side, the case, and yeah, looking inside, the first thing that, let's see if I can focus and bring that up. Look at that capacitor there, that might have got a little bit toasty. So if that capacitor at the back, which I think is 1000 microfarads, and this one at the front, the 470, and the IC is a TDA7231, which I have. If this has been reverse polarity, that might cause that type of issue. It's probably that capacitor at the back, the 1000 microfarad, rather than blowing from the top, it's probably spooged out of the bottom. But we'll take it off and we'll have a look and see. I can actually see some evidence of spooge. Whether that's just glue or it is the actual guts of the capacitors, I'm not sure, but as I say, we'll have a look and see. So I'll go ahead and get these capacitors out and get those changed. I'll also test the voltages on the IC and see if that needs to be changed as well. So there's the overview. So you've got the 1000 microfarad here at the back, 470 here. I can't remember what that one is just off the top of my head. I think it might be a 47 microfarad. The TDA7231, which is the brains of the unit. Few associated caps here. Oh, look at that puppy. That's a bit poorly, isn't it? There. You can see all that in there. There we go. That's definitely a poorly capacitor, so that'll need a clean up first off. I'll probably have to take out this 470 as well and give that an actual test. For those of you playing along at home, this one that I've just taken out, which is the 1000 microfarad, actually reads 397 microfarads instead of 1000, so yeah, that has got a little bit hot, I would suggest. Had some sort of voltage thing going on with it. So let's get those other ones out now. First of all, I'm just going to give the board a little bit of a clean up. I'll put some IPA on there, and I'll grab some cotton buds or Q-tips or whatever you want to call them, and see if I can just clean that up in there. It might actually take some doing this, because that's actually quite something. I've not seen one. These capacitors, like the one that I've just taken out, it's got the cutout there, well, not the cutout but the cross, so that it can vent out of the top if there's an issue with it, but it's actually burnt in from the bottom. If you look at the Q-tip, cotton bud, get some more IPA on that. So we need 1000 microfarad for that one. And these capacitors that I'm putting in are physically bigger than the other one, but they are 1000 microfarad at 50 volts. So it should withstand a little bit of shenanigans if there's a next time. You never know. I would imagine to do that to a cap, it must have been quite something when it went wrong. There we are. I'll also take out this 470 here, because that is often a usual suspect. Yeah, that's also burnt underneath there. I'll give the board a bit of a clean around that bit. And put that one in. Handy as well. So I'll take that out. And the polarity was, oh goodness gracious me, that's also burnt there as well. And give the board a clean, because this is such a common fault where people plug in the wrong power supply and the radio doesn't like it. Still not working, so it will be the TDA7231 to look at next, or to change, sorry. So the TDA7231 IC is these 8 legs here. There's 4 there and 4 up there. The ones on the bottom row are the powered ones, and the ones on the top are all ground. So let's get them out. There we go. Now it is still quite a trick to get these off, because as I said, there, it's out. And bringing this up close, can you see? The IC has actually got an explosion hole in there, it's got a crater, which is there. So I'd not spotted that before, but now obviously getting it out, there's a corner blown off as well. So yeah, that's definitely been through the wars. Now what I do, you'll have seen me do these before, I put in a dip 8 socket, like so. Just press it through, solder it in from the other side. Putting a dip socket in just means that if anything happens again to this radio, which it shouldn't do, because as I've said I will put a diode in, but if something does happen and the IC has to come out and get changed, it'll be a lot easier for the next person. Aren't I kind? In. Now here's the replacement IC. Where are we? That way. And you can see that it's a TDA7231. Now you'll notice the little notch. The little notch goes to the left hand side towards these capacitors so that you get the orientation correct, and then it's just a case of popping that in to the socket. If you haven't got the pitch quite right, if you pop it down on its side and give it a press, that will bend the legs in just a little bit of pressure, so that it lines up with the socket, and then the chip will press down onto the board. So now, I'll zoom you out so you can see now, if I attach up the speaker, this is a wall mounted speaker that I have in the workshop, and it's pretty universal and works for most radios, whether it's a transistor set, valve set, it doesn't really matter. And then connect up the power, making sure that's still switched off, and it is, and I'll turn on the power supply. So now,
to bring the temperature down, but once you start,
and it's been unfairly forgotten, and it's Pete Siglaris,
so there's FM.
Sent me this music during.
Here we go, we start nice and slow, Baz, good luck.
So there we go, that's it now working. I'll just have to pop it back in the case and job's a good one. So what it was, obviously it's been reverse polarityed, meaning somebody's plugged in the wrong adapter. Now if I grab the adapter plate that I took off while I was dismantling, zoom you down so that you can see on there, pin negative, you can see, so the center pin of the jack socket, which is this one here, the center pin should be negative polarity and the outer is positive. But what people tend to do, they'll think, oh brilliant, I've got a Roberts radio, and they'll use an adapter that they've got already, or pop down to Asda's or Tesco's or order on Amazon and just buy a 9-volt adapter which is center pin positive. They'll plug it in and that sends the wrong signal through the radio into the power socket here, and that upsets these capacitors here, the 1000, the 100 and the 470, and as you could see from that IC that I took out, it's also blown a crater hole in the top of the IC. So that's what was wrong with it. It's now working, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to pop it back in the case after I've given the case a clean up and the dial face a clean up, and that's another one sorted. Anyway, like and subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Laters.